Welcome to IHIP News. Pumps, what you got?
Well, our illustrious State Superintendent of Public Schools, Ryan Walters, which I just want to remind the viewer and listener that Oklahoma is in the bottom 5 in education.
It's 49th or 50th, depending on which poll.
Okay. So last or second to the last.
Right.
Our dipshit, crazier than a shithouse rat, State Superintendent of Public Schools, the one who wanted to buy and put in classrooms only Trump Bibles.
He did buy them.
Did he buy them?
Yes.
I thought that he was,
He purchased some, yes.
Oh, well,
they have been purchased.
Because he was auditioning to be the United States school superintendent, in my opinion.
He had the pick-me syndrome.
So bad. And he didn't get picked.
No.
Poor thing.
And what we're talking about is pick me to be in Trump's administration. But he was passed over by the WWE, because that's what I think about when I think about education. I think let's hire somebody from the fake wrestling world.
Absolutely. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's what I would think. Like, kids need fake wrestling to lead them to be the smartest the world has to offer.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a slam dunk. So he sits in his car and does all these videos for Twitter because he, again, is a nutball. So I want to play the video he posted yesterday, and then I want to talk about all the lies and the bullshit that he's spewing.
You know, you have schools that are teaching kids to hate their country, that this country is evil. You have the teachers' unions pushing this on our kid. The radical left wants people to hate this country. They've completely destroyed the integrity of the FBI by making them more concerned about DEI than about protecting Americans. It's a major part of this. And look, this is a real uncomfortable truth. You know, I know the left is going to lose their mind, but listen, we cannot allow our schools to become terrorist training camps. We cannot allow our schools to teach our kids to hate this country. We cannot allow our kids to teach that this is an evil country. That's why we are getting back to the basics here in Oklahoma to make sure that our kids love this country, understand American values, understand the role that the Constitution, the Bible, the Declaration of Independence played in American history, because we want patriots. And that's got to be the focus of our schools.
Okay, so I want to start by schools are teaching children to hate our country. I want examples. That's an extraordinary claim. And like you always say, extraordinary claims, extraordinary evidence. Show me where that's happening. Show me what they're teaching that's teaching children to hate our country. Is it history? Is it that the Pilgrims weren't just kumbaya with the Native Americans, but they, killed them, took their land? Is it segregation? Is it racism? What is it that he is talking about in this clip? I do not know. One concrete example. Have you heard of anything where?
Well, I think what this is when people get educated, they learn about facts and critical thinking. And that is a weapon against this style of nationalistic propaganda. What's being missed here is he's talking about people getting radicalized. And what we have are a lot of lone wolf attacks. And there seems to be a common denominator in a lot of these. And a lot of these people have served in the military. Right. You can look no further than the terror attack that happened in Oklahoma City by a very white, American-born man named Timothy McVeigh. He served in the military. The guy from Texas that recently ran over the New Orleans crowd, he has a non-typical American name, but he was born in Texas. He's an American, and he served in the military. The Tesla blown up in front of Trump Tower, military. I think there was a guy in El Paso that shot up, military. So my thinking is that this is a way to take your eye off of the ball. All of the stuff that he's saying, this forced nationalism, this forced patriotism, is just such bullshit. It doesn't. Forcing kids to love America is not what America is about. You allow kids freedom of thought, and you get to just decide, is it a great country where when I come to school every day, I have to do active fire shooting drills with the tornado drills and fire drills? Is that freedom? Is that okay? Is it okay that the minimum wage is $7 and has been for well over a decade, $7 an hour? Is it okay that if I have an ectopic pregnancy, I could die from it? Is that okay? They don't want anybody questioning anything. They want blind obedience. That's what he's talking about, is blind obedience. All students must be blind and obey everything that we say, just like the Bible instructs people to do.
I completely agree. What also bothered me about this is that the FBI is too worried about DEI. The FBI and DEI have nothing to do with each other. So that's just throwing these words or initials, acronyms, whatever, out to these people who have no fucking clue what's going on, making them think that DEI is hurting this country more than guns. And that's my question. Ryan, when have you come out about the safety of students in your school? When have you come out for gun reform? When have you come out to protect your children while they're at school, knowing that guns and shooters are the number one cause of death in this country, and you're in charge of the state school system? Where are you on protecting students? Not a fucking word. He does not say one word about that. And then the terrorist training camps, American values. Ryan, what are American values? Are they kids dying in school? Is it racism? Is it patriarchy? What are the American values that you're trying to teach here? What are you going for?
Blind obedience. And I think it's interesting to point out that for years, for decades, from the beginning of this country, all FBI directors have been Republicans. Right. It has been a very dominated right-wing world. And finally, the Republicans started criming under like Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And so then they had to turn against the FBI, who has been a very, very far right-wing institution. And so it's really bizarre that they are cannibalizing their own institutions that Republicans really built and further institutionalized systemic racism and exploitation of vulnerable people under a lot of this Republican rule under the FBI and the DOJ. So that's a really interesting component that now they're trying to make the FBI woke, right, and the FBI all into DEI and all of this stuff. That is the biggest bunch of bullshit. The American DOJ and FBI has been the biggest facilitator of systemic racism. I mean, if you're wealthy in this country, you can get a top-notch criminal defense attorney and you can get probation for a crime. If you're Black and you get a public defender, it's bracelets and you're going away for a long time. So this is just bananas, but it doesn't seem like anybody ever calls it out.
No, you're completely right. The FBI director right now that they're talking about how woke he is, and he's weaponized the FBI, was appointed by Donald Trump, let's not forget. And then the last thing is these students need to know the role the Bible plays in America. That is not history. This country was founded for freedom of religion so that nobody had to be the same religion. But he is so willfully ignorant or radicalized, whatever you want to call him, that he does not, like you said, he doesn't want critical thinking. He wants blind loyalty to the Trump Bible that he puts in schools, to the 10 Commandments he puts on the walls, and American values. Christianity is not an American value. The freedom to be a Christian is an American value. This guy makes me so mad. He is so part of the problem. I cannot stand him in his stupid car videos.
Here's what's gross about when you live in a MAGA supermajority state, okay? So Ryan Walters does all of this stuff and says all of this stuff, and the governor of the state never says one thing about it. He just allows all this cuckoo for Cocoa Puff bullshit. And the governor just recently put out on his Twitter that he says that in Oklahoma, we're turning classrooms into career launch pads. From expanding apprenticeships to higher education, we want to prepare every student for success in the workforce. And he says that he wants to mandate, he hasn't done it, but he would like to, and this is straight out of Project 2025. You have a choice. Once you graduate from college, you can go to, once you graduate from high school, you can go to college, you can go to like a VOTEC school or the military. And this to me is so disgusting. And this is the party that says that they are so pro-freedom. And what happens is my kids can afford to go to college because I'll make sure that they go to college so that they don't go to the military. So here you're going to have the most marginalized members of the state that disproportionately affect people of color that are going to go off to fight whatever wars. And then yet the whole time you got Kevin Stitt, Ryan Walters, all of these people talking about freedom. The common denominator in all these people is they're all hardcore Bible thumpers that are just outraged at critical thought, outraged at critical thinking, and they want everybody to be blindly obedient. These people worship capitalism. They worship, they're all over their Twitter. They're all about, we need Doge. And I'm like, okay, reconcile for me, Kevin Stitt and Ryan Walters, reconcile for me an atheist, how Jesus Christ, who they both say is their Lord and personal Savior and is basically the founding father of the United States, if you listen in between all the bullshit that they spew. Reconcile for me how Jesus Christ and Elon Musk have anything in common. Reconcile that for me, because all I ever see these MAGA thumpers they are Bible thumpers that worship capitalism. They value the gun lobby, making billions and billions and billions of dollars more than they do kids being safe in school. And it's all bullshit. They want blind loyalty. They want women back at home, cooking meals, and all this crazy stuff. You know what's so crazy about Ryan Walters? He will win if he runs for governor in this state, because this state has become a MAGA hellscape. Nobody stands up to this shit. And Ryan Walters says out loud what a lot of these MAGA loyalists think, and they like it. And that is a huge problem.
Absolutely. He does. He will be the next governor should he run, because rural Oklahomans are going to vote for him because they're like, rah, rah. Bible in school.
And it's even more than rural. You see a lot of radicalization in so many MAGA people. I remember when Trump first ran in 2016, when it was the Republican primary, so many people that I knew that were moderate Republicans were like, oh God, I would never vote for Trump in a primary. He's awful. He will ruin the Republican Party. And they got radicalized and more radicalized. And now it's like Trump train, choo choo. And they're all in on this bullshit. And it really needs to be studied. How many people became so radicalized on MAGA cruelty?
Absolutely. And how they became so radicalized. I mean, we have guesses, but we don't know. One thing, since we are talking about the Bible thumpers, did you know that the night before Trump's inauguration, he is going to allow faith leaders to pray over him for between $100,000 and $250,000. So he's charging the religious right that elected him. And I find that both abhorrent and delicious all at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, that tells you how he thinks about religion.
That's right.
That it is transactional. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. You have big pharma, you have big oil. We have a huge problem in this country too. And it is the big Christian oligarchs. These people don't pay taxes. They indoctrinate and radicalize people like Ryan Walters to sit in his car and spew all that crazy bullshit. Nobody does anything about it. Nobody will talk about it. But for those of you that listen from abroad, or maybe you live on the East or West Coast, this type of fundamentalist evangelical Christianity is a cult, and it is the epicenter of the MAGA movement.
Absolutely. You're right.
Okay, we'll see you guys later. It's so entertaining. Tap the vein. So